Welcome to alphacenturian. I'll be your guide. You can call me Alpha. Today we're going to be looking at the book Prescriptions Against Heretics by Tertullian. All right, so this is the book. It is very thin. I think you can get it from the Vatican website and a few other places, just online. I got a printed version from Amazon. All right, let's begin. While reading Prescription Against Heretics, I found a deep irony. Many of Tertullian's arguments could be used against him later in his life for the same reasons he condemned others early in his life as a Christian theologian and apologist. This work serves more as a handbook on how to classify and handle heresies rather than a direct critique of any particular heresy. Tertullian seemed reluctant to name the specific heresies he was addressing and loathed to explain them in any depth. According to him, this reluctance stemmed from a desire not to spread or encourage the heresies by giving them a structured critique, which he felt would insult the scripture used to counter it. In a way, Tertullian viewed this work as a boxing manual for handling opponents who might present heretical ideas. He primarily focused on Apelles, a popular street preacher and interpreter of prophecies, Phileme, Apollos' oracle and prophetess. She was a female charismatic false prophet. Valentinus, a famous Gnostic. Marcion, who wanted to disconnect the Old Testament from the New Testament. Simon, for whom simony is named after. And Ebion, famous for Judaizing. First, as a physician speaking to an apprentice, Tertullian provided ways to identify and diagnose heresies. He advised looking for theologies or faiths which arose post-revelation that deny either the Old or New Testament, or that promise excessive freedom or liberty. Such heresies might offer affirmation instead of condemnation, be inclusive instead of exclusive, feature future or novel prophecies, have a female priest or leaders, not because women could not be strong leaders in Tertullian's opinion, but because the heretics usually lack hierarchy, reject authority, and prefer strong women and weak men in their ranks. These inclinations are indicative of an imbalance in their philosophy. Additionally, heresies might rely heavily on Platonic or Stoic ideals or other pagan philosophies not rooted in the Gospels or in the Old Testament. Tertullian described heresy as a necessary outgrowth from the truth, much like weeds want to grow in a fertile field right next to healthy, good stock. His solution to the problem of distinguishing between heresy and orthodoxy comes out in his suggestion that the truth's antiquity should be measured against the novelty of the lie. The truth, he argued, is hard and difficult to follow, whereas the lie is easy to accept. He emphasized ignoring heresies when possible. But if mild or indirect engagement was unavoidable, he advised countering them with the gospel's simple truth, nothing more, nothing less than moving on. However, if one must diametrically engage with heretics directly, Tertullian warned against using scripture at that point, comparing it to casting pearls before swine. Instead, he recommended countering novelty with novelty, lies with lies, and addressing denials of the Old Testament by affirmations of the Old Testament. He also advised that engagement should be measured and appropriate. Give swine shit, dogs their scraps, and newborns to the faith their milk. Overall, Prescription Against Heretics is an easy read containing sound advice. I would rate this book a 7 out of 10 due to its lack of depth and somewhat superficial advice. Nevertheless, it provides straightforward guidance, making it valuable for Christians interested in polemics or counter-apologetics. While I would not recommend this book for those already skilled in apologetics as a guide, I do think it is an excellent entry-level book for those beginning to share their faith and a useful resource to know before encountering heresies in the wild or in the field for the first time. Thank you and good night. Please like, please subscribe. I do have a Patreon now, so please, if you want to support me, you can go there. It is a link to my Streamlabs, which does have a merch store, and hopefully soon I will start getting super chats for my nightly streams. Have a great night. Talk to you all next week.